Warren County. That's the trouble. It's not from around here.
Everybody there? He's going to give me a signal. I'd like to call a city council meeting for January 3rd, 2019 to order. Want to welcome you all out there and in the audience. And wish you all a happy new year as we start the new year tonight. First of all, roll call.
Councilmember Bringold. Duncan.
Here.
Gesme.
Here.
Lundell.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Montgomery.
Here.
And Mayor Altoff.
Here. Would you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the oath of office. We'll swear in the new councilman, mayor. Do you want us to come down or?
You can stand
Okay.
to your spot. If all the members that were elected, please stand, raise your right hand. I will read the oath. Please insert your name and position when that comes up. I state your name.
I, Bill Duncan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
and I will faithfully and
impartially
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
of State Your Office
City
council member
of the City of Cannon Falls,
of the City of Cannon Falls,
to which I have been elected,
which I have been elected
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Oh, is this the right one? Oh, that's Steve's.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Bill and second by Morris to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That brings us to item 6, public input. Citizens may speak to issues not on the agenda. Before speaking, please give your name and address for the minutes. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Comments must be pertinent to city business and adhere to data privacy rules. No employee's name may be used. Personal attacks will not be tolerated.
Also, just add one thing. We got to make sure that there will be no discussion regarding any employee. That is private.
We sure wouldn't want to break the rules here, would we? These people aren't here for me, okay? They're here for the big guy in the back, and I don't mean Gary Hovel. And congratulations, by the way. I thought that I would try to be pleasant. Hopefully, I can accomplish that. Right now, I'm not that happy. And it's because of what you have done. Now, I had this laid out real nice and gentle-like, and I hope that we all figure it out soon. I will figure it out for you. Go ahead and watch your clock. Other people have exceeded the 3 minutes. They have used names of employees. So anyway, congratulations, Mr. Mayor and new council members. It's my hope that you will learn what has happened and put forth the effort to straighten this mess out that has been made. The Beacon reported that Dave Pagel retired. The council voted to fire him. It was unfair, it was malicious. Dave did not receive due process. The city did not have just cause. The city of Cannon Falls has failed Dave Pagel. Dave Pagel has not failed the city. I've watched Dave Pagel for years, here doing his duties on weekends, times when he's not supposed to be working, holidays, in his own vehicle. Don't tell me about Dave Pagel. These people here, they'll tell you about Dave Pagel. I shouldn't have to, and you should know better. Pardon me. The Public Works Director failed in his duties. So did the city administrator. So did the mayor. So did the council. I blame every bit of this on Robbie Robinson. Do I appear angry? God, I hope not. I'm trying to be pleasant. Did anybody here send Dave a Christmas card? You people ought to be ashamed of yourselves. I need you to look at this with fresh eyes, to be fair and impartial, just like you took an oath to. And you should read this. Give it a try. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? I didn't take the oath. I don't have to be kind. I don't feel like being kind tonight, but I'll try. There was a criminal issue in the Public Works Department. I really don't care what time it is, Bill. If this isn't important to you, that's fine and dandy, but it's important to me and it's important to them. So try to pay attention.
We're told not to.
I could care less what you tell me, sir.
Yeah.
No, not yet. I'm not done. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
We'll move it along. There was a criminal issue at the Public Works. Dave Pagel was a whistleblower. Your police department did nothing. Pagel chose to run the Public Works Department without the responsibility, or with all the responsibility, without the authority. Someone had to do it. The director would not. Dave Pagel is pragmatic and he uses common sense. There's a personnel policy handbook in this building. Be good if you people followed it. It says that the city's to do a yearly review. Dave's last one was in 2016 in February, 3 years ago. It states in that review that he meets or exceeds expectations. It says the employee's primary responsibility is to serve the residents of Cannon Falls. That's why these people are here, because that's what Dave did. The supervisors are responsible for a standard of employee conduct. They failed there. The supervisor and/or city administrator will investigate any and all allegations. They failed there. Why did the city go straight to a performance evaluation and force Pagel into retirement, or he would lose his benefits? There were 3 members of that council that knew nothing about anything until they went into that private meeting for 2 hours. Are you telling me that they learned in 2 hours what these people have known for 10 years? I don't think so. It needs to be investigated. It is my hope that this council will reinstate Pagel, leave him on vacation, figure out what's happened, get it straightened out, have an honest evaluation done by an impartial agency, and have the city follow its own protocol. And that doesn't mean to have the police interrogate him. The police should be taking care of the criminal complaints that were put before them. Thank you for your time.
I'm Tim Deemer. I wasn't planning at all I wanted to come here for sure, but I wasn't gonna even get up and speak today. But after what I just heard, I'm gonna make this really hopefully under a minute. I've known the aforementioned employee that I just ran into him 3-4 hours ago. Had a quick, I won't say anything that we talked about. He just said he has given a choice to be fired, to retire, or resign. And I've known him since, I believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, he used to work for the township. And so, and I've got other issues related to library, which I think has to do with you guys as well. So I'll bring them up later, and just, I repeat everything that was just spoken by Mr. O'Gorman.
Leroy McCusker, Cannon Falls. I just thought this is such an exciting moment tonight that I had to come. And first of all you new elected officials, thank you, thank you, thank you on behalf of Cannon Falls. It was time for some new blood and new direction. The last couple of years have been a little rough with employee situations. And with the new situation and the new elections, everything is so exciting to see, because I think it's going to be a completely new direction. And the other main thing, if I could encourage the council, that I called in today and I found out that we ain't supposed to use names, so I'll just say one of the top people hasn't quite signed his contract yet. And that if I have to, I will meet with John to see if I can get you another $1 an hour more raise. So it would be nice to have that signed by this Friday, though. But we get going in a new direction. There was a lot of, when I was on the council before, a lot of problems with some of our departments. Getting together and handling things right. I can listen to the story tonight, but I ain't here to demonize this thing. I ain't here to blow it out of proportion. I'm just saying that let's get City Hall, let's get everything back to calm down and take things just as they come. Some of the best advice I think I can give to the new council members is, and I told one of them today, is if you can't be on this council and debate, then be cautious. Being on this council is all about debating different opinions, different ways of looking at things. And the biggest thing you can do with debate is sit down and have a good one and have it open, but leave the hate out of it. The other thing is, when it comes to things down here, and it starts out to be a molehill and it ends up being a mountain, you didn't do your job if it got that carried away. Try to keep things down to a molehill. I also will give you a little story. I might take a little bit extra time, but When I'm down at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester talking to a doctor, and he says, where are you from, Leroy? And I said, Cannon Falls. And it's the surgeon, and he's sitting there looking at me, and he says, what's going on with the paper and one of your citizens up there that they can't leave each other alone? Well, we want everybody to be able to speak. We want everybody to say their opinion. But let's try to just calm it down and keep it down to molehills from now on. We don't need to keep blowing things out of proportion. The other thing that I wanted to mention to council tonight that was so exciting to read in the paper this week is the amount that Dakota County is going to be spending on the Lake Billsby project. And we all owe them a big thank you for that, and that is going to be a heck of an investment for Cannon Falls. So thank you all. Thank you, Linnell. Thank you for picking up the slack when things were in such a mix up here. And don't forget, I'll talk to John more for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leroy.
Thanks, Larry. Is there anyone else who wants to talk to public input tonight? Anyone else want to talk on public input tonight? Third time. Anyone else want to talk at public input tonight? No? We'll move on. Next item is the consent agenda. Items on this area of the agenda may be adopted or may be removed and placed on the business area of the agenda for discussion purposes before approving. For you out there and for you at home, I'm going to go through the items on the consent agenda. Item A, just and correct claims for the accounting period ending December 27th, 2018. Item B, meeting minutes for December 18th, 2018 City Council meeting. Item C, Resolution 2406, designated the depositories for city funds for fiscal year 2019. Item D, designation of the official newspaper for 2019. Item E, authorize John Eltoff to be placed on the bank signature cards. Item F, 2019 committee appointments. Item G, hire an unscheduled part-time employee for ambulance department. Item H, second reading and adoption of ordinance 364, amending chapter 152 of the Cannon Falls City Code, the zoning ordinance concerning domestic animals. And item I, streets and parks supervisor posting. Is there anybody that wants to pull any of these items down?
Yeah, I'd like to pull item F down, the committee appointments.
Okay, we'll make F item 9A. Is there anything else that you want to pull down? Anything else? Then I take a motion to approve all the items with the exception of committee appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Derek and a second by Bill to approve the consent agenda minus item 9A, which is the committee appointments. Is there any other discussion?
It's 9, or number F. Except for F, right?
Yeah. And that's all going to be item 9A on the
9A, yeah.
on the reports. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That leads us to item 8, council business. Election of a mayor pro tem. I would like to nominate Morris Matson for a mayor pro tem.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
think we need somebody else to actually make the motion, because the mayor can't make a motion.
I make the motion
Thank you.
for Morris Mass,
Is there a
Mayor
second?
Pro Tem.
Second?
I'll second.
Yeah, motion was made by Steve. Make Morris the mayor pro tem, and a second by Derek. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Rob Morris.
I abstain.
Okay, that leads us to reports. Or that leads us to item 9A, which is the committee appointments. Mary Jill?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I don't want it to come off disrespectful. But I think, we got a lot of committees in the city. Most of them deal with things like, the Public Works deals with street improvements and that sort of thing. The library deals with new programs for the library. I'm just a little concerned about having you, John, and Morris both on the Personnel Committee. You both have children that are full-time employees, and I've been the boss's daughter, and it is no fun to have it look like the deck is already stacked against you if you've got an issue. And, I would hate to think what would happen, if someone in the Public Works Department had an issue with Mike. What would they do? Who would they go to? I don't know. You've got other options, and I would hate to have it look like it was nepotism, and it just does to me. It just smacks of it to me, and I'd still be involved in everything. The other thing is that, not so much for Morris, but for you, if you were chairing the Personnel Committee, not only would you be bringing forward the recommendations from the Personnel Committee, but you'd be the tie-breaking vote. And it just doesn't feel arm's length to me. I've dealt with a lot of things with conflict of interest, and I think you're asking for conflicts. Sure, you can abstain, but I still think it just, you're dealing with the whole Public Works Department and really department heads, because they're all treated essentially the same. Not so much with you, Morris, but you have someone who works full-time as well. But I think I don't know. I've said my piece.
Well, one thing, I really don't have contact with her on this, on the council, period. And I wanted to be on this because I think the city that I've seen is in shambles. There has been a shambles. And we need to start with, for instance, we have a PR person. Let's get that PR person to make a lot of decisions around here. We've got to have that. I've been in different businesses and that you got to have is a great PR department. I think some of this other cause from last meeting is because we didn't have somebody that really knew what was going on. And this is what I want to get established. I'll tell you right out front. So just so you know.
Well, I appreciate that.
No, I know.
I appreciate it. And I really do.
No, I know.
Just what I feel.
Well, as mayor, I want to be on that committee, and the reason I picked Morris and Bill, there's going to be some PR or some personnel questions coming up, and I wanted the most experience on that committee. Now, I realize I have a son on Public Works. I had nothing to do with that process. I had no vote. I had nothing to do with that process, and he was picked to be the Public Works Director. I realize that people can see that as a conflict, but I can always abstain too. But that was my reasoning. I wanted the most experience on the Personnel Committee.
Well,
John, could I speak to this quick? The one thing I would like to say is one thing you have a problem in a small town that I consider to be our asset is when You have small towns, you have families that grow up together. And all of a sudden, families grow up together and dad's got this store and the kids wants to do this one. And the one thing I will tell you is that the council in the last couple of years got so crazy about legal things that I'm saying is if you have a family on the council or working for the city, I do not look at that as a bad thing. I look at it that our local kids stayed here. I also look at it as that's something you got to watch, and you better keep an eye on it because it's all the more important to make sure there's no conflict of interest. So I don't think anybody has any ill intent outside of that. If we want to change this, then we hire an attorney again, and there goes out another $5,000 to make sure this is done right. So as long as there isn't any ill intent, just leave it balanced. You can always bring it up again. Thank you.
I appreciate what you just said, Leroy, and I agree with you. I don't think anyone up here has any bad intent. What I'm thinking more of is the rest of the employees. And it's just, I take my own. I was in this position, and you don't know how many times I heard, must be nice to be Paul's daughter. You know, and it's true. And there are a lot of people in this room who have been there and, around. I just, if you decide to go ahead,
you're mixing
just be
private
true.
with public here too.
Well, it wasn't easy being Bob's son either.
No, but I think you just have to be very careful if you go ahead.
So I have a big mouth and a small brain, and I want to kind of back this up a little bit because I was talking about a public works director. I want to make it very clear to everybody here. I'm not talking about that public works director. I'm talking about the former public works director. Thank you.
Okay.
I too have a little bit, as Leroy rightfully mentioned, nobody, I think, that would be on a personnel committee would have any type of agenda or anything, but the optics look real bad when you have two people that have kids working for the city that are in what I would refer to as sensitive positions, one a department head, one in a sensitive area in our administrative area. So that's kind of a big worry.
Well, I might as well put my 2 cents worth in. That's why I'm here, right? I think we have plenty of oversight. A lot of people use telephones and emails, and I think if there ever was a problem that arose because of John or Morris on that committee, I think we could probably keep them reined back and make sure that their agenda matches everybody else's on the council and not just personal feelings with their relation.
I have another, the Care and Share Board and the Chemical Health Council, both are basically defunct at this point, so I would like us to eliminate those two. Actually would like to also eliminate the Park Board just because it's an extra step, because anything the Park Board does has to come back through the Public Works, but I will not push that part at this point, but I do recommend we eliminate the Care and Share and the Chemical Health Council as they no longer meet.
Well, I don't want to eliminate the park committee, but Park Board. But I will share your thoughts on the Chemical Health and the Care and Share. They haven't met in years, as far as I know. So.
Yeah, and I've served on both in the past. So, but it's up to the council as far as the personnel committee.
And I want to make it clear too. I didn't mean that any of us had it. I wouldn't want an employee to feel like they couldn't come to someone because of someone else. And it happens. It just happens. I had people that didn't want to come to me and say something about my dad to me, even though, I could tell him he wasn't maybe going to change, but I could tell him. But they didn't want to come to me about it. That's my only point. And if we're cautious about it and run into any problems, we might have to revisit it. But if you think it's fine,
Okay, first things first. You want to make a motion to eliminate the care and share and chemical
Yes,
health?
I will make a motion to eliminate the Care and Share Board and the Chemical Health Council as committees.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Okay, back to, well, let's just mention the park board. Are you gonna see it?
I'm not gonna ask for it, but it is a duplication of effort that, I've been informed that, yeah, we didn't have it for many years. I know it was brought back in the last couple, I believe. But what it is just a subsidiary, a subcommittee of the Public Works. And anything that they want to forward on will come through Public Works, and then Public Works will bring it to the council. So I thought it was a duplication of effort.
I'd like to keep the park board for now.
okay.
John, can I speak to that? I was a part of a couple years ago when we started the park board back up again. And when we got going at it, our first goal was to go to every park in Cannon Falls. We went to every park and we toured them parks, and then we came back and discussed each park, each safety issue, all the things that were going on, including in John Birch Park. I'll tell you at the time that there was kind of an anger going on, so it really was hard to do things. The park board was being kind of downgraded. But at the time, we had 7 wonderful people that volunteered their time to be on that park board. I'll tell you what happened was that within 2 months, we found out that the park board had been so neglected for so many years that it actually was a terrible safety issue. We found electric panel covers that were missing and doors that were not locked. We found vacuum breakers that were not on water lines. We found steel beams that were exposed at 5.5 feet underneath the ballpark downtown. We found the old band shell to be a wonderful lower level in there if all you did is go in there and cleaned it up and took care of things, and it's being neglected right now. And ball teams could meet in that band shell on ball game days. We found that we could put a crossing between the 2 parking lots down there, and we could get that bus off the highway when they dropped the Rochester people off, and we could do a lot of this for not a lot of money. We also had a lot of people that complained to us about porta potties, and people just absolutely, totally hate them. And some people would tell us they won't even take their kids in them, and wanted to know why we don't get our old restrooms opened up. I also have talked to John about this and told him that I might volunteer to do this for nothing if the city would want to start them up again. So there is a lot of things with the park board that are very important, and I will tell you that one of the big issues was a drinking fountain with an outlet within 6 inches of a drinking fountain inside the dugout down at the Ball Diamonds. So please do not take this ballpark thing lightly. There is some very serious stuff that now, if our new Public Works Director knows how to take this over and knows how to manage this stuff the way it should be, then you don't need a park board to watch over them. But at that time, there was so much neglect that it was just terrible. Thank you.
And I was just trying to point out that it is the Public Works guys that handle our parks and take care of them. But yeah.
But also, I was at the last park board meeting, and I like the people. It's a good committee. They had a lot of good suggestions, and you're going to have a lot of issues with this non-compliance thing in the future. So, park board stays as far as I'm concerned. So,
I agree with it because Public Works, I've been on that too now for a while. I mean, there's a lot of things that those meetings, and this is some other eyes that can bring it forward, and I think it's a real good
Yeah,
thing.
pass it on to the Public
Yeah.
Works.
Well, like I said, I'm not going to
No, I know.
suggest it at this time, but it is a duplication.
Okay, we'll leave that alone. Back to the personnel.
Are we limited at 3 people for that committee, or can you add more?
Yes, otherwise we would have a
Open
quorum.
meeting.
Oh, that's
Sure,
right.
quorum.
Yeah, okay.
It's up to you what you want to do. You have my recommendations.
I think at this point, you know, if people want to go forward, I think it's fine. I've hopefully made us aware of the issue, and if something does come up, you know, then we can deal with it then. But I had to get that out. Okay.
Any other discussion? I have a motion then to leave the personnel committee as was proposed.
Also move.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Mary Jill and a second by Steve to approve the selection on the personnel committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
4 votes for, an abstention by Morris, and an abstention by Bill. Passes. Okay, let's move on to reports. The staff.
Excuse me.
Did we do the other committees?
Yeah, we need to adopt the rest of the committees too,
Oh.
please.
Oh, I thought we did already. Okay, then I'm entertaining a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda.
So move.
The rest of the committees.
Committees.
Oh, rest of the committees.
I'll make a motion to approve the rest of the committees.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bill and a second by Morris to approve the rest of the committees. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. That moves us on to reports. The staff. We'll start with Dave Maroney.
Report to the council that as a result of the meeting in December,
How soon would you like that meeting?
I don't know if there's other agenda items coming up.
I would suggest the personnel meeting before the next council meeting. Is that fine? Okay. Okay, Mike?
So there's a lot of talk about me tonight, I guess, with my dad being the mayor. So I'll just clarify a couple things. We went over this before he put his name on the ballot because we knew, you know, nepotism was going to be thrown out there. And I guess I told him, I said, hey, let the voters decide, you know, and we'll see how that falls. And I think they support him. I feel like the community supports me in what I do. But I'm aware of that too. So that's why I just want to let the council know I'll be very transparent in anything that's going on. Whether we have to take care of things more on a council level than a personnel committee level, the way it is, I'm okay with that. I'm a very open book type person. So I'm not worried about that, Mary Jill.
Thank you.
Other than that, just welcome the new council members. Excited to work with you. We've got work to do over the next 2 to 4 years, whatever your term is right now. We've got some pretty extensive Public Works Commission agendas we've been working on. We've got a lot of projects coming up. We've got a lot of street projects over the next few years, some reconstruct projects, and then we've got work to do after that as far as maintenance on these roads, overlay, sealing them up, trying to take care of them. We've spent a lot of money building them, and we've got work to do to take care of them. So that's a big one. We got some water tower stuff coming up, so I just want to, you know, encourage you. Reach out to me. I have a very open door. A few council members already been in that door to sit in my office, and that's what I like. You know, we'll keep it as informal as we can, and I'll be as open as I can. The other thing I want to invite current council members, if you haven't done so, any of them that want a refresher, and the new council members, I think it would be a good idea. Seek me out, and we can set you up a tour around the community. I'd like to go over, how many miles of roads we have, our sewer lines, water lines, just how much we have to maintain on infrastructure wise. I'd like to take it down to the fire station, show you what we have to maintain down there and what our fleet is like down there and a little bit of how that works. And then I'd like to get you hooked up with Wes, our treatment plant operator, and do a tour down at the treatment plant as well, just to give you an idea of how many moving parts we have. You see a lot of bills of mine every month, and you don't really know what some of those are for. So I think it would be very good to show you all the moving parts I have down there. So please reach out to me, and we'll do what we can to accommodate and set you up for either a quick tour or a very detailed one. But I've got a lot to show you as well too that I think will be very beneficial to your term coming up. So that's all I got tonight.
That was the first thing I did when I came on the council is went to the treatment plant. That's a very sophisticated place. It's worth a visit if you haven't seen it lately. Mr. Malco.
I look forward to working with you as well in the council, and congratulations, John, with the mayor position. Myself, I will have some stuff for personnel, some recommendations for recruitment and retention of our current EMS staff. We are heavily rely on our unscheduled part-time employees, and so we're really looking at a way to keep those key people engaged and retained for the city. And to build on that, next council meeting I'll have an agenda item for you guys. Just looking at another piece for that is some online education that they can access, so those individuals can attend training from their comfort of their house or down our building or anywhere and get the required education they need, so they don't have to travel far away. And I think that's going to be a great asset to bring our members. And we have the police department has expressed interest in having that. And we also have some firefighters that will be able to access that education as well. And talking about education, January 14th, we're having an initial EMT class. So anybody that's interested in becoming an EMT, call the public safety building or look on our Facebook page and you can get the details. Thank you.
Jeff?
Along with them, welcome to the new council members and look forward to working with you. We have Triad next Wednesday. For those of you who aren't familiar with Triad, it's a partnership with ourselves, the Sheriff's Office, and seniors. The speaker at this month's event will be retired Sheriff McNerland. And that's all I have.
Linnell?
Thank you, Mayor. I, too, echo everybody else's welcome to the new members. We're glad to have you aboard. I did send out an email last week, or earlier this week, I guess, regarding League of Minnesota Cities training for newly elected officials for the mayor, and then also experienced officials. And I would really highly recommend that you take a look into those training opportunities. I think that it's a wealth of information that you would find very helpful. If you have any questions on that, please contact me. I'll be happy to help you with anything and explain the travel policies and things like that the city has in place. So at any time, please feel free to contact me. I have an open door policy as well, so you're welcome to come in, give me a call, or contact by email. Thank you.
Council members, Steve, you got anything?
Oh, you want me first? Well, I want to say thank you to the 1,200 and so many people that thought I was going to do a
show off
job for them up here. I'll try my hardest. I know a lot of people are going to be mad sometimes, babe, and then sometimes maybe everything will work out. But I'm going to try my best. I committed myself to 2 years, and I'm around town all the time or at the end of a telephone. Give me a call. Thank you.
Matt?
I'm really excited to be here. I want to serve this community. I'm not a quiet person when you get to know me, but up here in the council in the first year, I am going to be quiet because I think I have to do a lot of listening because I don't know all the faces out there. I know a few of them, but I want to try to really get to know the community before I come up here and start chatting like I normally do. Thanks.
Thank you. Bill?
Kind of dovetail on that. It does take a new council member actually a fair amount of time to get up to speed because we got to go almost the first budget cycle. There's a lot to learn. So I want to congratulate everybody that got elected. Also, I would like, and I'm not sure what we can call this, but other than, I would like to have a leadership retreat for senior staff and the council. One, to bring the new members up to speed. Also remind all of us that have been serving the do's and don'ts, some goal setting. Where is it we're trying to go? What do we want to do? And I'd also like to include one of the people from our admin department that are not department heads. They can kind of choose who they want. And just meet like on a Saturday morning, for a few hours and go through that. And so that we're all on the same page. We all get to know each other. And maybe we can set some sort of goals. And I would like to see us do that sooner rather than later. And Linnell or Dave, I know one other time we did something similar, and it's because I know some people will cry foul when I say it would be just for us. We would not be making any decisions. We may come forward with some ideas that we can bring to the council, but it would not be an event for the public to attend. It would just be for us. Linnell, I want to make sure that we can do such a thing.
There are certain legal requirements to have a closed session, which is what you're talking about.
Right.
So we would have to see if this type of a meeting would fall into any of those requirements.
If you could check on that.
Yep.
I think it's a good idea for us to all sit down and find out what's going on. So that's all I have.
Okay, Derek?
So I was asked the other day about bow hunting in city limits. I believe maybe one of you two over there would know that this was brought up several years ago, but I'm not sure whatever became of it. Do you know?
City ordinance does not allow bow hunting or any hunting within the city limits.
Okay.
There was some questions as far as seeking DNR permitting, but the council decided they didn't want to pursue that, and so it hasn't been pursued since.
Okay. And other than that, just welcome to Mary Jill, Steve, and Matt, and I look forward to working with you guys for the next 2 years. And that's all.
Mary Jill.
Well, as you know, I'm not shy. You've already heard from me. I'll try not to be overbearing. I will try not to run the meetings. He'll stop me. He won't let me. And I can't thank the 1,000 and whatever people who voted for me because there weren't that many. But I look forward to the next 4 years serving Cannon Falls. I'm looking forward to giving back. I do try to be reasonable. And you can always call me. I've got a local number too now that I don't really want to give out, but I guess I will. But I do have a local NSL, and I'm available almost any time, and I will listen. So thank you.
Horace.
Just the new members. It's great to see you, and I think it'll be a good time. I know we got a lot of stuff ahead of us, and it'll be worked out.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, just to add, thanks for the support that I was shown when I ran for mayor. I just wanted to bring up a few things. As I went around the town campaigning, people aren't happy with their water bills, and they're not happy with their taxes. We can address the water bills, and we can affect our taxes by maybe cutting the tax levies. That means not spending as much money. So department heads beware, maybe have to do some cutting. Other than that, I wish everybody a happy new year, and motion to adjourn.
People are sitting here and they're waiting. I think they'd like you to at least consider looking at the bomb that was dropped in here 2 weeks ago, because it was uncalled for. It was way, way illegal. The way that it all went down, that's what I want you to look at. Look at your own personnel policy manual. It is clear in the steps that you need to take, and you went from point A to Z in one step. And don't think that I don't realize that Robbie and Cedar pushed that through. They shoved it down our throats, and I'm not happy about it. And I'm not going to be happy about it until you do something about it. And it is your job, and I expect you to at least take a look at it. Thank you.
The personnel.
I comment on that, or can I comment on that, or?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, 2 weeks ago, I pleaded with Dave to retire, and he did. But now I talked to Dave myself this afternoon, and he wants to file a grievance for his job back. So this has got to be done by procedure here. If he can file a grievance with his union rep, come back to personnel, which will eventually come back to council, and we'll see what we can do. That's the procedure.
John, if I could add to that, that would be one of the nice new things we could do with a good direction is, this has been brought up to you people tonight, this has been put out there. Now, instead of making a mountain out of a molehill again, put it back to the personnel committee, talk it over, come back with a decision, either it stays the way it is, or it's gonna get voted on and hired back or something. But all we're asking is to deal with it, be respectful about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Dave? Doing it that way?
I'm going to be angry anyways.
I know you are.
Okay.
I know you are. But I think.
But I'm going to practice my bowling.
Okay, anything else? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mary Jill and second by Morris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.